What should I do if I feel like she's losing interest? I think there are a couple ways I want to answer this question, and it really depends on how far into the relationship you are or how long you've been together. So assess the whole situation, like look at the relationship as a big picture. These are important questions to answer because it's the foundation of the relationship. And my advice here is going to be really different for somebody you've been on 3 dates with versus somebody you've been with for 3 years. Like, it's a completely different answer, completely different advice based on how long you've been with the person. So I'll take the answer in two directions, and I'm going to start with the early stage of the relationship because I'm assuming this person is an early stage of the relationship question. I don't know that to be true, but I'm just going to assume because I feel like I have been there many times where I'm like, I feel like she's losing interest or she's not responding as much as I'm texting. Like, I feel like I'm the only one driving the boat here and she's like laying on the sun deck in the back while I'm kind of creating the relationship. I'm weathering the storm and figuring out which direction to go in. And she's just like, yeah, okay, sounds good. Or like, responds in a couple of days like, hey, sorry I missed this, like would love to hang out. And like, yes, she's interested, but I feel like she's losing interest. So I completely understand this situation, and I think that's where my advice is coming from here. So if you're in the early stages of the relationship, you've just started seeing each other, maybe you're a few dates or a few weeks in, and you feel like she's losing interest, you have to weigh what might be going on. So there could be a bunch of different scenarios happening. She might still be seeing other people, which is something that I didn't even think about in the early stages of dating. Like, I didn't, because I was never seeing other. I really have a lot of struggle balancing a couple of people at once. Like, it's never been for me. But I know it's a very common thing for especially people who are dating young, like 20s and 30s, to be dating a couple people at the same time and like having prospects or having like a roster is what people say, but like that makes it sound really bad. But having a couple people you're dating at the same time and then following the one you like best. And that may sound like bad on paper, but I think it's really normal. Like, I think a lot of people are dating a lot of people. And that might be happening. Like, she might be seeing other people, and that's totally normal and that's fine. And it's upsetting, of course, because you might like this person, you might be really interested in her. Like, it sucks, but it might be happening in the back end. She also might be getting out of something. Like, she might have been in a long-term relationship or a recent something and getting out of that. So, or there's something else, like it's career related or it's family related or it's just like personal or mental. Like, there's a lot of different things happening. And I think you can have a conversation about where you're at. And it doesn't have to be the what are we conversation or like the, hey, I'm not seeing anybody else and I'd like to, like, it doesn't have to be that right now. But if you're interested, which you seem to be because you're asking this question, I would have a conversation about where you're at. And it doesn't even have to be the what are we conversation. But if you're interested, which I'm assuming you are because you're asking this question, I would say something like, hey, I'm not seeing anybody else right now, and I don't want to. And I want you to know that. And I don't know if you are, but I want you to know where I'm at. Because I think that shows that you're really interested and you're serious about this, or you're getting more serious about this. And you see what she says from there, because her answer is always going to be better than all the assumptions you have in your head about what her answer could be. Getting what she actually is thinking and feeling is so much better than the amount of rabbit holes or the different feedback loops you can go through in your head to think about, well, it could be her career. Well, it could be, she could be out of a relationship. She could be doing, and like all the scenarios that I went through, like, it's just better to kind of assess the situation by getting her, not kind of, it's better to get the way she's feeling from her and having an adult conversation, which is really fucking hard. Like, it's not easy, and it's not easy for anybody. So know that going into it, that this is a very normal situation to be nervous for and anxious about and having reservations about. But if you are feeling that way, that like she's losing interest and you are really interested, I think you have to have a conversation about it. And I feel like communication and getting it out into the air is always the solve. Like, it's always the solve. So have a conversation. That way, you're not stuck in your head thinking about the hundreds and thousands of different things that could be happening. That way, you're not stuck in your head thinking about the hundreds of thousands of different things and situations that could be happening, because we can really drive ourselves crazy like that. Like, as I'm speaking from experience, we can really drive ourselves nuts. So get out of your head and into the world. Ask her how she's feeling and have a conversation about it. And I think that my advice here is the same for a longer term relationship too. Have a conversation about it. Say something like, I feel like you're distancing yourself. What's really going on? Like, I really want to talk about this. And you will come off as genuine because you are. And have that real adult conversation, because that's what a relationship takes. And those conversations that so many of us are scared to have because of what might happen or because of what will happen, and inevitably you'll get an answer one way or another. This is all part of being in a relationship, or it's all part of dating and the experiences of being young and having to learn all this stuff. And just be honest, be real, and be vulnerable, which are really hard things, especially for guys to do. Like, it's hard to have to like lay your heart on the table and be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Like, are you feeling the same way? Because if you're not, I'm going to be really heartbroken about this. I'm going to have to pick my heart back off the table and bring it back with me, and then somehow put it back into my body in a couple days, because I'm going to be really sad about this. But that's what it takes. And listen and really pay attention to what she's saying. Don't just jump to respond. Really hear her out and then figure it out from there. And you are going to figure it out one way or another. I know that for a fact. So just everything I just said, I think is really how I would handle this situation. Have the conversation, as hard as it's going to be, and as hard as it is. Have the conversation. It's the best thing you can do, and it's the only way you're really going to feel better.